So it is, let's see, May the 20th, Wednesday, May the 20th. And it was actually a little chilly this morning when I was out here in my flip-flops. My toes were getting a little cold. It was in the high 40s. But I wanted to show you. So I did my incubator hatch, and I've got a few videos. If you want to check those out in the description, I'll leave the link there. With a homemade incubator. Actually, after 2 weeks of those being set in there, I set some eggs under a broody hen. So in here, I've actually got a broody hen that I wanted to be broody. She was the first one, and she is laying on 8 of those Cornish cross eggs. So she's doing a really good job. She's 1 week in roughly, and I came out here last night and candled just 2. I just grabbed the first 2 that I could find, and both of them were developing. And these were from my Cornish cross hens crossed with breast rooster, and there was also a hybrid rooster in there, which was a red broiler and breast, but they were all white colored. Didn't know what to expect. I've never actually used a broody hen before. My parents have had chickens in the past, and they had one that would go broody and they would hatch out periodically. For me, I've always just used the incubator because I was either doing a large group of eggs, a clutch of eggs, or it was cold enough still, like February or March or April or something like that, and the hens hadn't gone broody yet. They usually go broody when it starts to warm up in the springtime. That kind of sets them off. So even though I had just done a big hatch, these are a different breed. And the other thing was, these chickens, the Cornish cross, hadn't really started laying enough. I've got four of those hens. They hadn't laid enough of those regularly to where I could set any kind of decent amount. So what I did was I put 4 under this broody hen on a Sunday, and then I think over the next 2 days I added 2 eggs a day, so that there was a total of 8. So I wanted to compare the hatch rate of what I did with my homemade incubator versus how this broody hen did without me having to do anything, and compare the results. And I think it may not be surprising to some of you, but I guess not knowing what to expect, didn't even know if the eggs were going to be fertile or anything like that, because they were early legged eggs in the life of the hens. I was cautiously optimistic. Okay, so let's get in here. So this is Gigi, and if I haven't said it before in the video, I'll say it now. She is an Americana on her mother's side, and she is a blue-laced red Wyandotte on the father's side. And as I said, I set in 8 eggs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So she had, got a cat trying to get in here. She had a 100% success rate, which I've never had that. Oh, she sees that cat and she's getting defensive, getting mama defensive. And she's been in here a couple days with these guys. I haven't decided. I'll get out of here so she can de-stress and the cat won't get in. So wanted to get out of there so we could de-stress the mama there. She was freaking out a little bit from the cat and everything, and me being in there. So but we got 100% hatch rate. She's happy, I'm happy, the chicks seem to be happy. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with her. This chicken tractor is actually scheduled to be used for the ones that I hatched out in my incubator. They're a little over 2 weeks old now, and they could go in here, but I've been waiting for her to just see how many she had and see what I was going to have to deal with as far as how many chicks to house, and got to figure out what I'm going to do with her, if I want to break her up from the chicks or if I want to try to keep them together for a little bit longer. One of the things is I don't have a heat lamp for these chicks specifically, so they need some sort of heat source, and they're a little too big to go in with the other chickens, at least right now. After a week of growth, if they're fast growing, and which I won't know that until I kind of observe them for a little while, if they're fast growing, then they might be able to go in with those layer birds with it, even though there's a 2-week growth differential. But they're definitely too small to go in with my full Cornish. And right now the Cornish they're using one of the heat lamps that I have. I've got the other heat lamp in with the laying group, and then I've got a third heat lamp, but that one is set up in my hog barn, and that's for whenever I have pigs in there, which may not be for another 3 weeks or so, or I guess it's possible it could be tomorrow or whatever, but one of them is due relatively soon, and I have that one fixed into place, so I'd have to uninstall the setup that I've got for that one. But anyway, so that's a little bit of population shuffle. That's fairly normal, and I may end up just building something, build some kind of a structure to where I can place chickens in there to be broody, to hatch out, or I might even do something where it's dual purpose, where I can break them from being broody in the same structure that I allow them to be broody, just by changing a nesting area or something like that for them. So we'll see how these guys do over the next few days, and I'll adjust accordingly. But as far as the comparison between the incubator, the homemade incubator, or any incubator results that I've seen, like most of the best ones that I've seen are 80% or whatever, and she, first time mom, first time experiment for me, 100% hatch. So definitely going to use a broody hen more often in the future, if not predominantly. And the only reason I would break out my incubator is if I needed a large number for whatever reason. If I grow the hybrid meat chickens well enough to where I've got enough laying stock to stockpile fast enough to where I can set the eggs, and they would be good. I think that was one of the problems that I had, was in storage. The house was getting cooler at night, like it was getting 40, 50, something like that in the house at night where the eggs were getting stored. And so I noticed that most of the older eggs were the ones that weren't hatching out. So I think that was a big contribution to my hatch rate. But if you've seen any of the videos about that hatch experiment that I just did, it shows that there's most of the ones that failed very, very late. So I don't know if it was just a weakness thing, and I had a few that were struggling to get out of the shell at the time. So it's possible it was just genetic, because the ones that I had, the cream leg bar, that was the rooster, those struggled a lot more. I mean, it was less than 50% success rate. And then the ones that just had the breast rooster, those were like twice as successful. So if you haven't seen that experiment, there's like 4 videos on the hatch process and everything, what I did, and so I'll leave the link in the description here. But if you guys have any comments, questions, feel free to leave those in the comments section. Please give us a like, thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff, and look forward to seeing you next time. I don't know if that showed up on camera, but it was a quail with like half a dozen little chicks behind it. Oh, they're so tiny.